Cobalt is an essential element that powers the modern digital world, from smartphone to electric vehicle, enabling technological advancement and our transition into greener energy solutions. It is what allows our iPhone to fit into our pocket and Teslas to accelerate like rocket. Big tech giants like Apple and Samsung rely on Cobalt to make the very best of the product that we enjoy using. It is everywhere around us, which makes Cobalt one of the most sought-after minerals in the world. But did you know that this incredibly useful metal has a much darker side? Hidden behind the sleek screen of your iPhone, the Cobalt story is one of conflict, exploitation, and environmental damage. As we venture deeper into the age of renewable energy and digital connectivity, understanding the complex journey of Cobalt becomes not only a matter of curiosity, but a critical step toward creating a more ethical and sustainable future for everyone. So let's embark on this journey together and discover the true cost of Cobalt. It all goes back to when DRC was claimed a Belgian colony by the king in 1885 and began exploiting resources of Congo such as ivory and rubber. In the 1930s, Belgian mining companies such as Union Mineral discovered a large deposit of cobalt in Congo and started to focus on extracting Congo's mineral resource. They exploited the Congolian labor force in order to build infrastructure needed to extract the mineral that included cobalt, along with other mineral resources that were used to fuel Belgium's economy. This was the beginning of exploitation of Congo, and there were severe consequences reported that undermined the development of a nation, despite the fact that Congo was one of the wealthiest countries in the world in terms of natural resources. Statistics show individuals from former recession turned out with significantly worse development outcome, with an average of 1.3 years less education and 25% less wealth than those outside the concession, making DRC one of the poorest countries in the world even till today, even after 60 years of independence. In the First and Second Congo War of the late 90s and early 2000s, also known as the Great African War, it was becoming apparent that cobalt has become a conflict mineral, which is a term used today to describe a resource that is mined and sold to fund for the conflict and violence. During the war, various political power and armed groups were involved in a deadly battle to take over mineral-rich areas, including areas with large cobalt deposits, as it was a highly strategic point for military operations. Minerals like cobalt have not only caused conflict between different parties, but have also had effect on surrounding environments through interaction with the locals, with several reporting of exploitation of labor force or even slavery to result in maximum profit. Even today, there are concerns regarding resource-oriented conflicts and its consequent human rights violation. Despite the effort of signing peace treaty between some groups like CNDP and integrating them into the DRC army, rebels and opposition forces continue to rise in order to secure natural resources. In fact, the latest report about M23 rebels being backed by several other governments, including Rwanda, with intention of securing natural resource, was reported in May this year, as Congolese government filed an international criminal court complaint. So, what is going to happen if the problem persists? First, it can further destabilize geopolitical tension in the region. One example we see today is the resurgence of rebel groups like M23 in the DRC. In an environment of weak regulation, security, and high demand for cobalt along with other minerals, these armed groups can take the opportunity to their advantage and exploit the situation in order to gain control, fueling their conflict, causing instability. As the value and demand for cobalt continues to rise with transitioning to another phase of digital age, the risk of these conflicts escalating is only rising. As a result of rising insurgency and conflict, it is also possible that human rights violations are also likely to persist, if not escalate. As previously seen in the United Nations Human Rights Council report, we have seen exploitation of labor force of local by militias and armed groups in order to extract as much local resources as possible, especially minerals. If not addressed properly, more conflict simply means more human rights abuses and conflict with locals. So, what are some different governments around the world that are helping to solve this issue? The European Union has been closely associated with DRC to support their development and progression. During one of the most unstable periods from 2001 to 2003 due to insurgency and national insecurity, the European Union allocated more than 1,800 million euros to help DRC develop, provide humanitarian aid, and to improve governance, security, and stability. This was intended to stabilize the region in order to prevent any more resource-driven conflict in the future and to provide aid to victims. The DRC government has also attempted to refrain from any further conflict regarding natural resources by signing peace treaties with CNDP, a rebel group, in 2009 and integrating them into the DRC army as a peaceful initiative. Although this was done to improve human rights issues, general violence and instability of a nation, political instability and constant corruption make this a challenge to this day. In a free market economy, businesses are profit-oriented and are driven by customer demand. With the new emerging era of digital connectivity and renewable energy, the demand for cobalt in particular has skyrocketed. Companies in free market economies like Apple and Tesla are looking to secure mineral supplies, including cobalt, to meet the demand accordingly and maintain good profitability. However, on a more concerning note, if companies are not cautious about their sourcing supply chains, it is possible that they end up sourcing cobalt from mines that exploit labor force or fund conflict.